I just have the account so I can mod for your live.
What did you do?
I started scrolling through your shorts, your TikToks, and, like, I got distracted. I've never done that. It's distressing. I need to go back to YouTube Shorts. I'm just like, I think the thing that baffles me is the difference in comments that you get on TikTok. Like, I literally see people that are like, "Oh my gosh, this is so funny. Please do more. Please play more. Troll this killer next." Yada yada. And then on YouTube, it's like they're all mad at you. Like, the difference is insane.
It's a mix up of both. What I find most interesting, not this map, is how the videos perform, because I put the same videos for the most part on YouTube and TikTok. It's just another platform. But what I notice is that the videos that get a lot of views or go semi-viral or whatever on YouTube are not the ones that do on TikTok, and vice versa. The ones that do on TikTok are not the ones that do on YouTube. There's some different algorithm going there and different audience, and it's just weird because I never know which ones are going to perform well on either platform. And I'm surprised, like, one might get, I don't know, 100,000 views on one platform, and then it gets like, 600 on the other.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, I don't know, it just baffles me. It's like the community is so divided that they can't decide whether they love it or they hate it, depending on, like, where they are or what day it is, or
It's not
there's just
only
so many
it's
factors.
not only, I don't think, that they can't decide. It's also that, okay, like, let's say, for instance, the video that was made on me, right?
Mhm.
The video was, okay, the question I ask is, what was the purpose of the video? What was the purpose of it? Was it to make the community better? Was it to stop hacking? Or was it to shame somebody and try to humiliate them and mock them and embarrass them? And I think it's obvious what the intent was. But what I also noticed is that the video wasn't just made to shame me and embarrass me. It was made to shame anybody who likes me or follows me or watches me or supports me or has any affiliation with me. It's made to make those people feel uncomfortable and like they're going to be outcasts in the community. And not everybody, most people are not, like, strong enough to stand up to that kind of bullying. They don't want to be a target. Like, I don't care if I'm a target because you're not going to take me down. But
Right.
other people aren't, that strong or bold to stand up to the bullying like that. So they're going to, like, even if they like me or like the content or whatever, they will, just out of fear of, their own reputation, they'll just unfriend me and,
Like, distance themselves.
yeah,
Like, just leave.
exactly,
Yeah.
because
It's just so messed up, because what you're describing right now is exactly how I felt when I watched his video. I was like, oh my god, this is embarrassing. He's not even making any actual points. He's just trying to embarrass and mock. He's not being kind or critical. He's not thinking. He's just being rude to be rude and try and embarrass the community and, what you've created as a content creator, like, for this game. And I watched it and I was genuinely like, are my friends going to unadd me because I enjoy Prophet's content? Like,
there's already people that will be, oh, what? Wait. There's already people that have, you know, like blocked me or unfriended me, and then they even put comments on these videos like, yeah, I used to be friends with this person before they were a cheater and blah blah blah. And my response to those comments, which they don't see because I'm blocked from leaving comments, but my response to the comment is like, you were never my friend. Because
yeah, I mean,
if you were my friend, you know, like you're gonna unfriend me over a video game for real? Like, that's not friendship.
Yeah, that's why I try and add people or like stick around people that don't get into my business and don't personally judge or mock my business. It's like, I have this friend, she's my best friend, I love her to pieces, and she doesn't get in my business like that. Like, if I'm friends with someone she hates, she's not gonna unadd me because of it. Like, she feels like that's just petty, and I think she's like one of the most mature people I've met in the Dead by Daylight community. It's just like separating your friends from their friends, and then being friends with the person that you love, and like letting them also be friends with the people that they want to be friends with. I think it's so unfair that people think they can like have this moral, like, I don't even know what to call it. They just think they're better because they're not friends with somebody who's brave enough to stand up to like outright mockery. They're too scared to disagree with someone as big as SpooknJukes, and it's I don't stand for all that. I don't care about.
It's moral grandstanding.
That's it, yeah. Yeah, Kirsten. Thank you, both of you.
It's like they're trying to just earn favor by making themselves look like, you know, and
the better person.
Yeah, and half the time, like, I mean, I don't know to what extent each person believes what they're saying, but here's the thing, like, somebody like, let's say, for instance, SpooknJukes, right? He knows that this kind of content, well, not this specifically, but hacking content is interesting, and it gets views. And that's like a given. Now the thing is, people like that can't tap into that market, and they can't make videos like that because they have this reputation they've made for themselves, which is pandering to the community and making sure that everybody likes them, and that they're, you know, they have this image to uphold, so they can't go hack in a game, and especially can't go post the content on their channel showing it off, right? So what's the next best thing, how they tap into that market? Well, they show me doing it, and they're still advertising it just the same, but they're making themselves look like the good guy. Well, they are condemning it and saying, oh, this is bad. Look, can you believe what this person's doing? But so they're still trying to get a piece of the pie, so to speak. They're trying to get the views on that market and that content and still hold the monopoly in the world of DVD, bringing all the, you know, the views to their channel. But they're doing it in a way where they're degrading somebody else. Like, can you believe this guy would actually do such a thing? What a terrible person they are. They're advertising cheats, kind of like I'm doing right now, except I'm trying to do it in a way that makes me look like I'm a good guy.
Yeah, I feel like if SpooknJukes made the same video, but he had been kinder or more critical or more understanding or anything toward you,
or maybe question me directly.
Yeah,
how about that?
Or maybe like try
how about
and
let me talk to this person.
Like, I feel like if he had attempted
or
to
maybe
understand your side,
or maybe even just allow my comments on the video. How about that? Would that be an option? No. So the thing that you know, seems disingenuous to me is he says something like, well, I'm going to let them tell the story themselves. And yes, he takes clips of things that I'm saying from certain videos and certain spots out of context, piece by piece. But, you know, at the same time blocking my comments, so I really am not getting a chance to say anything, at least not on his video. But he does use my words. Like, I mean, politicians do this all the time. They just take, like, what somebody says and then they just pull it out of context and place it into a different context. And you could pretty much make somebody say anything that you want. And as, you know, as like a professional video editor myself, I've done it before where I've just taken clips of people and made them say things that they weren't. Or it's not a matter of the, like, they actually did say the things that they're saying, but when you put it in a whole different context, they're using the same exact words that they actually did say, but there's the meaning behind it's different. So it's like sometimes it's not the words, it's the message being conveyed behind the words. So if you pull anything out of context, I mean, I'd have to go over his video, and so that's why, like, if I were to make a response to it, I'd have to actually go over his video and give examples and call this out and be like, okay, here's where he did it, and here's how he did it, and here's why it's insincere. Like, so in my book, I would call the guy a liar, because in order to make a video like that, you have to deliberately be chopping up a video in a way to like depict that specific image of a person. And so I would call him a liar. Now, question I would have is, well, what's worse, a liar or a cheater? I mean, they're essentially the same thing, pretty much, because someone who's, you know, cheating is essentially being deceitful, and someone who's lying is being deceitful. But I mean, put that in context, right? Like, lying about a person's reputation or cheating in a video game. You know, so I would argue that he's no better than I am, if not worse. Oh, this poor Claudette. I would have let her out anyway.
Oh, she was close. Yeah, I usually like his content, but Taller Toast had the same, like, complaints when he made his video about him.
Which is?
So, what SpooknJukes did is he took some things violently out of context to the point where, like, even Taller Toast was confused. Yeah, Taller Toast did a lot of really scummy shit. Like, he just was not a good person overall. And yeah, I'm kind of
Well,
glad that that was called out. But at the same time, SpooknJukes attempted to take all of his stuff out of context, and then after he was called out for taking stuff out of context, did he actually, like, make a proper video with his points, his critiques, his worries, like, all of that. So what he's doing right now, I'm pretty sure this is a pattern where he's attempting to get a response from you, but at the same time, he blocked you. So that can't be the case. He just wants to mock and abuse. He doesn't actually want to spend his time making a video about what actually happened, like your
well,
feelings
what he's
or
doing is
anything like
just, it's
that.
just minimizing the whole thing into a, like, into a whole thing that's just like, you were playing with a cheater, you got busted, shut up and take the consequence, you deserve it, nobody feels bad for you, you know, piss off. Is like kind of basically what is being said. But the thing about it is, I never asked for sympathy. I never asked anyone to feel sorry for me. I never shed a tear over losing my account. And I never said that I was in the right, and I never said behavior was in the wrong, and I never said that I didn't deserve to be banned. If anything, I said I couldn't believe it took them so long. So the things that I'm being made to say, and I also said, like, it's not about revenge. And I said, if anything, a lesson to be learned here is that there's something flawed in the system because of the fact that players who actually aren't cheating, even though they are queuing up with hackers, but the ones that actually aren't cheating, that are actually spending their money on behavior, that are actually like buying the chapters and the cosmetics and stuff, are the ones that actually get punished when they get banned, whereas the actual cheaters who are running the programs don't get punished because they come right back from bans. So if anything, I was saying that there's something to be learned about the system, and maybe, because you got to think about it. If the system was proper to begin with, I would have never played with cheaters to begin with. I would have never got like sucked down that avenue. The opportunity wouldn't have even have been there if the cheaters were dealt with properly. So when I'm trying to shed light on that, and maybe I didn't word it properly, maybe I didn't say it properly, but he takes a little snippet of that out of context. And he takes all these things, like pull them out of context and make me say something, and then attacks that one thing that I said as if it's like a standalone comment, and it's all related. It's all tied into me trying to say that like I was in the right and behavior wronged me. And like, he's making me say things I never said. You know, he's painting an image of me that isn't accurate, and then he's knocking it down. So he's like attacking something that he constructed himself. And it's not actually what the things that I was saying. And to me, that's disingenuous, and that makes him a liar. And I think he's doing it for views. And, you know, and I'm like fine with that, but go ahead and put my name in it and don't block my comments. You know, you want to steal the views from using my content to pull in the views off of hacking videos, then go ahead and reciprocate as a fellow content creator and let people know who you're talking about. You know, they'll say like, well, you know, since they're taking the moral high ground, they can't possibly reveal the name because how dare they, you know, give a slimy hacker more publicity. But at the same time, they are advertising the cheats and showing like video clips of the game with the cheats. And I've already had people come to me and say like, not gonna lie, like that looks pretty cool. Like, where can I get those hacks? So I don't know. I mean, there's so many ways you could look at it, but I don't believe that they're, and another thing that I would say he's disingenuous about is this, right? I don't really watch his stuff, but I've seen a few. Like I'm pretty sure I saw the Taller Toast one. I saw the Void Totos, which, by the way, Void said that he did the same thing to him, pulls things out of context. And
yeah,
from what I understand, Void's about to make a video on him.
Yes, that's true.
So this is why I would say he's disingenuous, though, because from the things that I've seen in his videos, the few that I watched, he's always trying to take that moral high ground and condemn people. Like, he strongly condemns people for being quote unquote toxic or whatever you want to say, like racial and or racist and sexist and homophobic, and in short, blanket term, hateful, mean-spirited, quote unquote, the buzzword toxic, right? And he's always strongly condemning that. So that's what I'm saying. If you're really trying to make the community better, then, and you got a problem with me, then go ahead, confront me, have the conversation with me, or at least request it. And, you know, if you want to hide my identity because you don't want, you know, people to whatever, but at least you're letting me talk, at least you're interviewing me, you can, you know, hide my name and all that, whatever. But the point is, he's not doing anything that, like, not a single person is going to be better off from his video there. Like, nobody's going to be a better person because of that video. So he's not actually helping the community. All he's doing is contributing to the toxicity by being a toxic scumbag himself, sitting up on his high horse, throwing stones down at someone else and mocking them, just like a, you know, basic representative of the DBD community, bullying people into submission. So it's like, make you feel like, oh, you don't want to be affiliated with this kind of trashy scumbag. And like, he didn't say the words, and he didn't like name call really. He just mocked to the point where it's like, this is so, like, he didn't have to say it because he did it in a way where all his viewers are saying it for him.
Yeah.
You know, which is why he'll say, well, this is, they'll claim this is why we also hide the identity, because we don't want hate coming over to that person based on us because we're responsible for our communities. But that's a bunch of BS too, which also makes him even more disingenuous, because he's putting the mockery out there and instigating it and condoning it and, you know, basically encouraging it. And he's like provoking it, so he doesn't have to be the one sending me death threats.
Yeah.
But, you know, so that's what I'm saying. If you're trying to make the community better, I'm sure there's a better way to go about it. And if I have a problem with somebody specifically, I would address that person and say, hey, can I talk to you about this? Because this is bothering me, and I think like it's a conversation I want to have, and maybe we can get somewhere with it. Maybe we can come to some kind of like common ground, or at least understand each other's point of view, or something productive. But no, like just mocking, scoffing, condescendingly degrading somebody is like,
Yeah.
you are that toxic piece of trash that you so strongly condemn. You are exactly that. Like, you're a total hypocrite.
That makes complete sense. I think the funniest part of it is that he made that video even though he knew exactly what was gonna come of it. Like, he absolutely knew his community was going to try and go after you. Like, he knew that you would get publicity from it, and he decided to still upload it and attempt to mock the people that actually do like your content or do like seeing hacks or cheats in Dead by Daylight.
Well,
And it's just baffling to me, because his video, no matter how many views or likes or clicks it get, will never stop a cheater or a hacker. He intentionally made that to harm. Like, I think that's grounds.
well, what
for
it's also saying is that it's saying that it's okay to be mean and hateful towards certain people because they don't agree with us.
Yeah, the
like-
most accepting community.
Yeah,
in Dead by
most
Daylight.
accepting, most tolerant, most loving, open
Most
arms,
tolerant.
and all that good stuff. You know,
You think a little
non-judgmental,
bit
right?
differently, all
These are
of a
the people.
sudden,
These are the people that would say
everything
like, don't judge and be accepting and all that stuff. And this is like what they pride themselves on, quote unquote. And but the irony of it all is they are. And when I say they, like blanket term, obviously not everyone, but a lot of them fall into it. You know, the description of least tolerant, most hateful, most toxic, most like unaccepting, most judgmental. They are exactly what they condemn.
Yeah.
And it's okay to treat someone like trash as long as they don't abide by our rules. And that's why it's a whole like, it's like a cult. It's essentially a cult. It's like you either
It's so strange, just...
either get on board with the group think or you're an outcast, and we're going to make you feel like an outcast until you get
like
with the
a
program.
prism. It's like a prism. You know those four-sided dice? You know, it's like one of those. It's... All of Dead by Daylight is one of those prisms. On one side, you have the regular players who are survivors. On another side, you have the regular players who are killers. On another side, you have the people who watch the game and enjoy it, or just consume the content. And then on another side, you have the cheaters, or the people who are morally ambiguous when it comes to the health of the game. And all 4 of these sides are constantly fighting for, like, the coolest side, or, like, the best side, or the side that wants to get rolled most. Like, all of these sides just hate each other. With, of course, some, like, outliers. But depending on the day, a Dead by Daylight player could roll that dice and be like, okay, this is the group that we're gonna hate on today. Like, sometimes they don't actually even believe the crap that they're spewing. They just want someone to hate because it's in their second nature.
And it's all a club, because the thing is, if they're the ones hating and they're the ones in the club that is doing the hating, then they feel safe that they're not going to be a target of the hatred. They're on the safe side. Everybody's hating this group of people right now. Well, I'll hate them too, so that I can be on the side of whatever, the social justice warriors.
Or, like, whoever is correct in that moment. It's so people like you who don't roll the dice to hate, but instead just want to, like, enjoy the game for what it is, or maybe what you have is, like, you just want to make content, right? It's just like some people don't even want to hate, but they're peer pressured into picking sides. Or, you know, they attempt to peer pressure you into picking sides, and it just causes more division in this already divided community. Like, every aspect of Dead by Daylight is divided. Every single one. You could say, oh, I like this add-on. There's gonna be 12 people who say that add-on is garbage. I hate that add-on. If you play that add-on around me, I'll tunnel you. It's like, what? It's an add-on. What if it was, like, for a medkit? Like a medkit add-on, like a brown medkit add-on. I assure you there are gonna be some people out there that just hate it because they want to hate it. Every single aspect of Dead by Daylight is completely divided, and there is no fixing it. Every perk, every item, every killer, every opinion, every playstyle, it's all hated, right? So if you play stealthy, oh, you're not helping the team. If you do gens, oh, you aren't helping the team. If you help the team too much, oh, you're stupid for helping the team. It just...
I mean, see, the amount of, like, hate or toxicity I've gotten just for playing as nurse alone, like, before I ever even got affiliated with cheating in any way whatsoever. And it was like, no matter what I did, I was just terrible. No matter what.
Like, people will just make fun of you for any reason.
So if I won, I was trash because I won by applying pressure and strategy. In other words, you know, I was bad for camping and tunneling. Or even when I specifically tried not to camp and tunnel, I was still called a camper and a tunneler. But, you know, if I lost, if I went easy on them, or just straight up lost, I was told I'm trash, I need to get good because I should have been able to win with nurse. It's like, if I lost, I was bad because I should have been able to win. But if I won, I was bad because I didn't play according to their rules. And it just got to the point where it's like, I was like, am I losing my mind? Like, no matter what I do, I'm being told I'm wrong. And the more that happens, the more I don't care. And the more I'm treated like trash by the quote-unquote community, the more I don't see myself as a part of it and don't want to be part of it. I will gladly be an outsider, and I will gladly be someone who is an individual and thinks for myself. I don't care what anybody says about, like, how I'm supposed to think about the game or about the community. You know, the fact that, like, I went up against those Twitch streamers a few games ago, and you went in their chat and said they were chill, and I let them all live, and they were really super nice, and they were telling me I was really good, and it was like, that was a really wholesome moment. And I find that those are, like, kind of few and far between in the grand scheme of things, and it actually restored just a little bit of my faith in this community and in Twitch streamers in general. I used to have this policy when I started playing this game. Anybody that I saw with a TTV, I just let them live because I was like, hey, it's a fellow content creator. I'm a YouTuber, they're a Twitch streamer. You know what? I'm going to be nice to them and let them live. And that was my policy. They just lived. But after receiving so much toxicity from the same kind of people, or especially like Twitch streamers who were like super mean to me or just banned me from their chat, even after I didn't do anything toxic or try to, you know, after getting that kind of treatment for so long, I was just like, you know what? They don't get a free pass anymore. Now I know some people will tunnel out Twitch streamers, but I don't do that either. I just treat them the same. But like, that's why I asked you to go in their chat and tell me like what they seem like. But to me, it's like, so I don't know what they want, but like these people here, I felt bad for them because one just died on hook, one was quit and went AFK, and like they weren't really a challenge for me. That's the way that that game was going, and I just felt bad and decided to let them do 3 gens and leave. But you know, I'm a terrible toxic nurse main regardless.
Yeah, oh man, I stopped caring what anybody thought in this game years ago.
This is why I want to raise my MMR on this account as high as possible so I can get the sweatiest of sweat lords, and I want to get the people that teabag me, and I want to get the people that I can kill and not feel bad about when I do it.
Right.
But what I've also noticed is like people who are cool in this game are cool, and they're going to be cool with it. If you kill them, they're going to be like, hey, that's your job. You're the killer. You did what you're supposed to do. No worries. Like, you played well. And then people who, and the same people like that are like that, if they win and they escape, you know, they're not going to teabag you at the gate or call you trash. They're still going to probably say, hey, good game. You did well. But the people who are nasty and, for lack of a better term, toxic, those people are going to be that way whether they win or lose. If they win, they're going to tell you you're garbage, get good and uninstall, baby killer and all that stuff. And if they lose, they're going to be like, well, you only won because you're an OP killer, nurse is so easy, just takes like a face roll, easy 4K, blah, 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 gen regression perks, you camp and tunnel, and whatever the case is, they're always going to be complaining, and miserable people are just going to be miserable, and happy people are going to be happy. So that's the one thing I noticed is kind of consistent. But you could see, like, I had joined some Facebook groups about DBD, and you'll just see people will post something, right? And they'll be like, oh, I got my, you know, I'm so happy I got this challenge or a 4K or whatever. And it's weird. I either see people like, I'm not active on it, but I get some notifications. I either see people complaining or people bragging. And then the comments are always people that are either like, well, it'll be either people encouraging them, like, oh, congratulations. And then you'll have the other people that be like, oh, well, you know, aren't you so good at the game? Blah, blah, blah. Like, there's always people insulting for no reason. It's just a weird dynamic. I feel like it's a cult and I don't want to be in it.
Yeah. It's I don't know how to start this, but when people in Dead by Daylight understand game manners or like congratulating the opposite team, you know, like Dota 2, League of Legends, like all of those professional players, whenever they win or lose, it doesn't matter, they always congratulate the other team, just like regular sports, you know? In basketball, you have like those lineups and you all shake each other's hand. You're like, good game, that was fun. We all had fun. Dead by Daylight doesn't have that. No one congratulates anybody because everyone just wants to be divided. And
Be what?
it's pretty sad.
Everyone just wants to be what?
Divided.
Well, I think what it comes down to is that it doesn't have a lot to do with the game. It has to do with discontent people who are not happy with themselves. They're insecure. They're just miserable with their own lives. And that just like comes through in the video game. It's like you said, they want someone to hate. So sorry, I'm gonna chase. She's juking me. I think it's just, it says something about the kind of people that play this game, honestly.
Yeah.
I think they had problems like before it's not the game, you know? So like within the context of the game, I don't think anything is really toxic. Like, you know, let's say for instance, I down her, right? And I don't know her at all. Her name is Wonton Soup, right? But I put her on a hook, right? And that chase lasted too long, and I feel like I lost pressure. So I decide to just, you know, hit her on the hook. Okay, so did I do that because I'm being mad and toxic? I mean, I could have done it because maybe I'm just trying to get in her head. Maybe I'm trying to get in the head of the teammates and think that, oh, this, you know, this player's being toxic. Like, no, it's probably not a good strategy. I'm just using it as an example. Like, right. Why did I do that? They don't really know. They can only assume, like, oh, the killer's so mad because I looped them for so long. I'm so good, you know?
Yeah.
They're just assuming because there's no real communication within the game. So, like, anything that happens in the game isn't necessarily toxic. If I tunnel her, if I tunnel after her, is that toxic, or is that the fact that I already lost 2 gens and maybe it's time for me to try to eliminate someone because that's gonna, you know, at least put the game more in my favor. Yeah, I just lost 3 gens. So I need to kill someone, right? So they might see that as like, oh, toxic. She hit me on the hook. She's tunneling me. Like, what a mean killer. So toxic. But really, for me, the toxicity comes in the end game chat, or what people say like outside of the game, when they take it so serious that it's no longer a game anymore.
Yeah, that's how I feel about it as well. It's like whatever happens in-game shouldn't be taken personally. Like, if a survivor teabags me, I'll probably give them, like, depending on the killer, I'll teabag back if I'm, like, Ghostface, or I'll, like, hump them for half a second, and then I'll move on. Because it doesn't affect my day-to-day life. It's like, oh, haha, you teabagged me, well, you're gonna get teabagged back, like I did that on my stream. I teabagged somebody.
See, if they're teabagging at me, it's gonna be... if they're teabagging at me, like, it could be that they're using it as a strategy to get me to chase them because someone's on a gen and they're trying to get me to chase them. So I feel like they're gonna sabot the soak, maybe. No.
That Jane most likely just plot twisted in main around the corner.
Good observation.
Like right by where that door
I wasn't paying attention to that. So this one. Oh, okay, where?
In main, breakable door, likely. That's what I thought. She ran toward main, so she's either behind.
Who's the one that was on hook?
That was the Jane. She plot twisted herself.
But, you know, my point is that, like, whatever happens in the game is, like, maybe you're trying to use something as a strategy, and whether it's a good strategy or not, them teabagging me doesn't mean that they're necessarily trying to be nasty.
Like, for me, I'll talk smack, like, all game. I'm one of those people, I'll talk smack, but it's like, it's supposed to be playful banter, because at the end of every single match, I either don't say anything or I say GG well played and then I go next because it doesn't affect me. I just like to talk smack because I like hearing myself talk. Like that's it. That's all it is. And people take it super super personally. It's like, "No, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to actually offend you. I was just talking because I like to talk." You know? And I get why people will get upset with me when I do that, but at the same time it's like I don't really have a lot of positive things to say. I just like to talk. That's just me. I get why people don't do that or don't like that, and I'm not blaming them or like shaming them for it. Uh what was I gonna say? There was another thing I was thinking of. It's strategy in a video game should be respected. I feel like any strategy should be respected, especially if you've become a master of that craft. Like, anytime I bump into somebody who tunnels hard, like hard tunnels out the first person and then ends up getting the 4K, I'll talk smack during the game. I'll be like, "Oh, this guy sucks. He's garbage, blah blah blah," right? I don't actually believe that because in the end of the game, I'm like, "Damn, he kicked our butts. He knows exactly what he's doing. He knows his play style and he's going to stick to that." I respect that. You know, just like with me, I know my play style for Blight specifically is slugging. That's what I do. I'm technical when it comes to slugging. So that's just me. I'm pretty good at that craft. And then no one respects that. And it's like, I have practiced so much to understand survivor positions at any given time just so I can be better at what I want to be better at. And anytime I bump into somebody who slugs, I always just say, like, oh my gosh, yes. This person knows what they want. They understand how the game works. If they're good at it or if they're bad at it, they're doing what they want to do in the game. And that's respectable. Like, people who don't care about what survivors or other killers have to say about their playstyle are the most respectable people in this community. That's why I like your content a lot, I think, is because you don't care what other people's opinions are on how you play. You just want to play how you want to play, and that's like how video games should be played. Like, I suppose, yeah, cheating does break the rules, but at the same time, it's like you kind of have to respect the hustle. It's pretty cool, honestly, to see somebody that just doesn't care as much as you do. Like, Void Todos and stuff. That's why I'm in his Discord as well. People who are super good at looping, I would definitely compliment. People who are super good at, like, stealth, just never find them, not even once. Yeah, definitely complimenting them. I'm not gonna be like, oh, this stupid Claudette, she was hiding all game and I couldn't find her, boo-hoo, boo-hoo, right? It's like, oh, she hid all game and I couldn't find her, that's fantastic. You know, I'm not gonna just crap on somebody's playstyle.
I feel like the MMR is finally starting to go up a little bit. That was a lot more
Spend some
challenging.
blood points.
I mean, my mind wasn't really in the game, but
That's true.
no, I haven't spent a single blood point on this account.
Oh
Have
man,
nothing.
you're lucky. You know what's so weird? Is the fact that there's a blood point cap at all. Like, why? The devs said something about the socioeconomics of blood point spending. Like, they said some stupid crap like that, and it just never made any sense to me. Like, we don't get fun blood points because you guys have ego? Good to know. Like,
So,
I wanna start saving for in case they do an Evil Within DLC, but I always spend them.
I'm right around like 50 games on this account, probably like, I don't know, I don't have an exact count, but I'm at around like 47, probably close to 50. And that game actually felt, like I said, my mind wasn't really all in it. We were having a conversation and I wasn't like really tracking sounds and stuff like that, but it felt like it felt like the MMR is going up a little bit.
Oh, that's
Definitely.
good.
So I'm trying to get up there. It's gonna be rough without perks though. But that's the challenge.